Hi everyone, today I am cutting for Stamp Camp and we are making this card here, and it's hard to show you this because my camera's ahead and I want to stand this up, but it stands up by itself in this nice little way. I'll put it on its side, and I think it's called a side step card perhaps. It's just a pretty little card that you can put stand up, and I like it. So I'm not sure what it's called. I think it's a side step or a side stair, not sure what it's called, card. And there's all different ways to do it. I've seen them many different ways. I'm using all one sheet for mine, so this is one way to do it. I've seen where this piece is a separate piece of cardstock. You can change the measurements on this, on the sides. So I'm going to show you how to do this way, which uses one sheet of cardstock, and then also more for embellishing, but the card base itself is one solid sheet. See, like this, and then it folds like this. And I just was playing around with it based on my images that I wanted to use, and that's how I came up with the sizes that I needed. But again, you can change these dimensions and make it fit with what you're doing. So here is how we do it. I'm using, this is a stamp set called You Are Remarkable, and I really like this one, and I love coloring, so we're going to color. I did another video showing this same idea, same card stamp set, but in a different form, where we used the filler stamps. Let me show you what I mean by filler stamps. This stamp set comes with an outline stamp and then filler stamps that you can use to fill in that outline, but you can also use them on their own. So in my last video, I showed it filled in and then not filled in, and kind of asked people which one they preferred. I was actually really surprised because most people prefer the filled in, whereas I actually really like the not filled in. Here's the not filled in. And I really love this because I think it's kind of pretty. But a lot of people liked the filled in, and I've made a million of these. So here's some filled in with pencil, marker, and today we're going to do pencil. So we'll talk about pencil shading as well. So let's show you the dimensions on this card. So I have to cut a bunch of these, but we'll just do one. I figured while I was cutting for class, I would do one on camera, so you can see how to cut such a crazy card. Now, like I said, I was doing this based on the measurements I needed for my image, so you can kind of change this where you want to cut. So here's mine again, and I cut at, let's see, where did I cut? I had it all written down and then I couldn't find it. At the 2 3/4 mark, which is actually right in the center, but you don't have to do it right in the center. So this is 2 3/4 and this is 2 3/4. You can adjust that. So mine is 2 3/4. I remember now. And I'm gonna see if I can put this where you can see. Normally I look at the measurements down closer to my body, but here I'm gonna try, and so you can see the 2 3/4 mark. And I want to cut 1 inch from the bottom. So I'm going to move this little cutter tool, and there are measurements on this blade as well. So this goes to 13 inches. So I'm going to put this little blade at it's actually 12 and a half, not 13. I almost made a mistake. You know what? I'm going to flip this so I don't make a mistake. Okay, so this is at 2 3/4. Like that. And then here's my 1 inch mark. So I'm going to move that cutter to the 1 inch mark. And your trimmer, if you don't have the Stampin' Up one, probably has same idea, 1 inch mark. And then I'm going to move it to the 5 1/4 mark. So that is my measurement. I'm going to go 5 1/4. Okay, which is right here. So I stopped the blade. It has a little guide here that tells you where the blade is in there. So I've got from 1 to 5 1/4. See? Okay, so this is going to be, now I need to score some different score lines. So from this side, and I'm going to tell you, this is, if it's folding towards me, normally I would score this right down the center at 4 1/4, and that would be the halfway, but we're not doing that today. So today we are going to, now I'm going to put this cutter away down here so I don't accidentally cut the wrong side. So this lighter one is my scoring blade, and I need to score this side at, well, here, I'm going to turn it. So this side, I'm going to score from that line. So I'm going to move this over to the 2 3/4 line. I need to score at 1 inch. So there it goes. Then I need to move it to the 2 inch. And I'm going to score only to the cut line. And then I need to move it to the 5 1/4. Just going to where I cut. So I have 1 inch, 2 inch, and 5 1/4. Now on this side, I'm going to score it. On that side, I lifted it up so it didn't score all the way across. I'm going to score it at that normal 4 1/4, and I'm going to go only to the cut line. Okay, so on this side, I've got it scored at 4 1/4, and then on this side, 1 inch, 2 inch, 5 1/4. Okay, and that is how I do it. Now it's kind of weird and awkward to fold this, so I kind of put my hand in here, and you're going to fold this down, and then you're going to fold that up, and then once you've got those two, these are easier, and then bring it around and press, and then you can grab your bone folder to get those nice and flat. Where is my bone folder? Here it is. And you're going to go like this and get those nice and flat. Okay, and that way it'll stand up nice, and then you've got this cute little easel card. Maybe it's called an easel card. Is it a sidestep card? Is it an easel card? I've seen so many variations of this, and I just kind of made it up based on my needs, and so I played around with it for a while and scored and came up with different ways. And you can see I messed up this one. This was my test one with pencil marks and many different scores to try to figure out what I wanted. So this is what I wanted for mine. Okay. All right, now I'm going to tell you what my other pieces are. So I've got 3 different layering pieces here. This is Granny Apple Green and Basic White, and then I'm going to layer them up, and I've got 3 different areas. Okay. Whoops. Okay. So this is going to be for just an area for writing a greeting. So right now this is 5 1/4 by, I think 3. Yes, 5 1/4 by 3. And then this is just a 1/4 of an inch smaller. So this is 5 by 2 3/4. And that's going to go on the inside here. And that's so that you have a place to write a little greeting. But then the person who gets this can just kind of stand it up, and it says, "You are remarkable," and they're going to see that, or whatever it is you put on there. And so this goes like that, and I'm going to go ahead and glue these together. I like to glue my pieces together because my desk is a mess and I lose pieces. So this doesn't have any stamping. Normally I stamp before I glue together because there's 2 sides to every paper. And if I make a mistake, I can flip it over. But I know I'm gonna leave it blank for now because I'm not sure what I'm gonna use it. Okay, so I'm not gonna glue these together because I do want to do my stamping first. So the first stamp I'm going to do is the floral image, and then I've got some words. Now the stamp set comes with a few different words, and I am using this "You are remarkable in every way," and I'm stamping in Memento Black. Did I say how big this one was? I'm not sure if I did. Is it 2 inches by 1 1/4? 2 by 1 1/4, yes. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp that. Okay, and then this is going to be my flower. Okay, and I'm going to stamp that on this piece. Okay. Now here you can decide, are you going to color it in or are you going to use those filler stamps? Choices, choices. I'm going to color this time because I used filler stamps last time. Okay, so I'm going to use my watercolor colored pencils. I love them. These are Stampin' Up! Watercolor colored pencils. And what did I do with them? I think I put them away. Rats. I did. The one time I pick up after myself is right before I do a video. Okay, now this paper that I'm using, this cardstock, is Pretty in Pink, which I love. But I don't have Pretty in Pink pencils because Stampin' Up! Only comes out with a few of our colors in pencil. So I'm going to use Flirty Flamingo. But if you notice on here, I do a little what I call a drawdown sheet. This is where you draw the color down. We do this in painting and I'm used to that. So this Flirty Flamingo can get some different shades, and that mid-tone is pretty much Pretty in Pink, from the darkest to the lightest. Remember Pink Pirouette, kind of like that. So I know that Flirty Flamingo will look just great. I'm also going to choose a yellow, and I was going between Crushed Curry and Daffodil. I ended up what did I do? Oh no, I did brown. I went with, I couldn't decide, so I ended up going with Early Espresso. So that's a good choice. Pecan Pie is another good choice. This is just, they do not come this way. I made this. So let's find Flirty Flamingo. There it is. Should be close to the top because I just put these away. Granny Apple Green. Let's see. I'm going to bring out my Pecan Pie, Espresso, and Garden Green. I think those are the colors that I used. Okay. You know, I might have thrown some Melon Mambo in there. Is that still available? Yes. Okay. I give myself a little clue as to what's still available because they've changed colors over the years. Yeah. Okay. Here are the colors I'm using. So I'm going to do that pink first because it's my fave. I'm going to go with that Flirty Flamingo. Now here, you're going to do different pressures. So what I mean by that is how hard you press. And so I'm going to go ahead and do a very light shading of Flirty Flamingo to get a paler pink. I made this card, the sample card, a week ago, maybe almost a week ago. And so I can't remember if I used that Melon Mambo on the middle or not. So I have it out, and we'll see how dark we get it without it. So here is my light coloring, and I tend to go in circular motions. On there, back and forth. Nice and soft pink. I really enjoy stamps where you can do coloring. Some people do not, but I think coloring is awfully fun. Okay. I've got my base layer of pink down, and now what I want to do is kind of go over with a heavier hand, pressing deeper, and then you can get a darker shade towards the center where the flower meets the middle. So I'm going heavier. Okay, and then I'm going to go with my Pecan Pie and do the center. And again, I'm always start kind of light, going light, and you can leave it all just very soft like that, but I think it looks really nice if you go in and have some darker areas. So I'm kind of going in the center and adding some deeper pressure. And then if you want to use that early espresso for even darker, you can. That's the nice thing about pencils. I feel like for the money, you get so many colors, and then because you can go lighter and darker and mix and match, and you can even layer color, you end up with a huge variety of color. All right, so I'm going to leave that like that. And then for my leaves, I couldn't decide what I wanted to do with my leaves. So I ended up with the Granny Apple Green, which is why I chose this color. And this is my favorite sharpener, by the way. It's Faber-Castell. You can get it at Blick or most art stores. Anyway, so I'm going to do my Granny Apple Green stem. It's starting to rain, so hopefully we won't get thunder any second now. Let's make sure I'm still recording. I always like to pop my head up and look at the phone real quick to see if I'm still recording, because earlier I did a video and I was not recording. Alright, so I've got my layer down of Granny Apple Green, and then you can either apply heavier pressure to get some darker areas near that stem, you know, where the vein where the leaf kind of goes in. You can do that, or I thought I wanted some brighter, I wanted some variety in my green, so I went with Garden Green. And here I just added just a little bit near where those veins are on the leaves, just to kind of give them a little more pizzazz. All right. I think that adds a little punch to them. I might add some more at the base of the leaves. Okay, and maybe where it touches the flower. Okay, so I've got that. And I think I do want to come in with this Melon Mambo. Nope, that's Fuzzy Flamingo. All right, so here it is. And like I said, I made this one a couple, maybe 6 days ago, and I don't remember, I've made so many cards with this stamp that I don't remember. And I think this one does have Melon Mambo, don't you think? So let's go ahead and add some Melon Mambo. Just a little more color. I'm kind of going up that line in the vein kind of line, and then also just at the base where it touches that center. Like so. There. All right, I think I'm done with my coloring. And then let's put our layers together. I forgot the designer series paper that I have there. That is actually something that's on sale right now, if you are watching this before it runs out. The designer series paper, the 6x6 paper packs, are on sale, and that's what this is. And it's just cut 3x3, or no, I'm sorry. This is 2 3/4. This is 2.5 by 3. And so let me cut, and this one was the striped one. I don't have any more of that, so I'm gonna cut the circle one. And let's see if I got it right. 2.5 by 3. And we'll attach. And then I'm going to put a ribbon around the base. Now I'm bringing this ribbon to Stamp Camp because it's a current ribbon and it's lovely, but I don't have enough to, I don't want to use it for this video because I don't want to run out. So I happen to have, for the video's sake, I have this ribbon. This is actually from a while ago before Pretty in Pink was, it was a regular color and then it was discontinued. It's been brought back just for a limited time. And so I have this Pretty in Pink ribbon from before, which was really nice. I looked in my stash and sure enough, there it was. Now here's my little tip for putting this down. I don't want my ribbon to fall off every time someone opens and closes this card or when they put it in and out of the envelope. So I want it to stay where I want it to stay. So I'm going to take tear tape and I'm going to put it across the back, and you don't have to go all the way. And I'm going to put a little bit in the front as well, just to hold it where I want it to be. And I want it to be in the middle of this 1-inch area. So I'm going to put some here, which is going to be behind the image anyway. And then I'm going to put some right here just to hold it in place, because when it goes in and out, it's so low to the edge that I just don't want it to fall off. If it was a little bit higher up or something, it wouldn't matter so much, but it's just right there on the edge and I don't want it to fall off. So that is my tear tape trick, and I can't put it here because I'm going to tie a bow. So I'm going to take off the backing first. I'm going to see if I can measure how much I need. And I'm going to tie a bow, so let's cut it about there. Hopefully I didn't do that wrong. All right, and then and what is that? Something from the hole punch. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and take this backing off. Stick this down. And now that's not going to move around. And then we'll do the same. And then you can stick this down right there. We are just layering things down. Okay, I'm gonna tie my bow. I really love this Pretty in Pink. It's so pretty. All right. Hopefully I gave myself enough ribbon here. Oop, I think I did. I'm not a bow tire. I'm a horrible bow tire. People watch me tie bows and think, what is she doing? You know, it's funny because my sister is a fantastic bow tire. Okay, so once I've got it tied, I like to hold the center and pull to get them nice and even. But if you don't hold the center, then it kind of comes untied. There. All right, so there we go. There's my bow. I'm gonna clip it. It's a little uneven. Here we go. All right, I could futz with that a little more. Maybe I will, but I won't do it on camera. So now this I put down with some dimensionals just to give it a little lift. Where are my dimensionals? I want to show you these before you go, so don't go too far because I have. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe one in the middle. And I'm going to put some little butterflies. I was going to use the little bees but I'm out of bees. So let's use the little butterflies. Those bees are adorable and I just ordered some more. And then we'll put this one. Like so. Some little butterflies. And I was thinking 3 butterflies. I was thinking 2 small ones. Whoop. And 1 big one. All right, and there is, I'll have to play with that bow. That bow's gonna make me a little crazy. It needs to be a little smaller. All right. Okay. There's my card. Here's the first one. Oh, we got to put our place for our greeting. Now here I decided, do I put it back here? Do I put it on the inside? I think most people who are looking to see what you wrote are going to look on the inside. You can also decorate the back, but I think this is meant to be just something you're going to put up on your desk and look at, and that would be really nice to put a nice little greeting in there. Now this could be for birthday. It doesn't say birthday. You can put a birthday stamp on here. It says you are remarkable in every single way, and on the inside you could write something like, I hope your birthday is as remarkable as you, or whatever. In fact, I used to have a stamp that said that, which is why I was thinking of it, and I can't remember what set it was in, if anybody knows. So we've got that. And then before you go, I wanted to show a couple other things. I showed them in my other video, how really nice pencils layer on crumb cake or basic beige. And I thought that was fun. This is marker on basic beige. This is Stampin' Blends on basic beige, Stampin' Write traditional markers, and then pencils. So you get, and then here are pencils. And I had a really pretty white one, and I don't see it, which is a bummer, because I wanted to show you how pretty it looks with the white. Because white pencils, oh, here it is. Look, white pencils look nice on the crumb cake. And I added a little bit of blue for a shadow. You know how we were trying to get that darker center, and what do you do with white? Because you got to press pretty good pressure just to get that depth of white. So then I added a little bit of blue, and that turned out really nice. So anyway, a blue version and a pink version. I hope that you have fun making one, and again, you can measure different measurements and just play with it and kind of give yourself permission to kind of make a crazy mess, or use maybe some less expensive paper and make yourself a crazy template and figure it out for what fits your needs, and then you're good to go. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.